Hey everyone, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the love and positive feedback I got in my last video. It meant a lot to me, especially on Facebook. You guys are fucking awesome. And I said if the last one did good, I'd do another one, and so here we are. Before I get started, I want to say that this case is super long. There's a lot of detail, so this might be split up into two parts. But it is a special case for my fellow Michiganders because this case takes place in Michigan, in Monroe County, and it happened about 6 years ago at a Halloween party, of all things. So, yeah. I don't really know the case that well. I kind of just found out about it. So I took notes. So if you watch the video and you see me looking off to the side, it's just me reading my notes because there's a lot. There's a lot to cover. There's a lot going on. It's fucking terrifying. It's brutal. So if you're triggered by certain things, just giving you a heads up. So let's get started, and let me take a sip of my drink real quick. And here we go. This is the case of Chelsea Bruck. Now, before we get into the case, I'm going to give a little backstory on Chelsea. She was a very good, smart, wholesome girl. She grew up in a town called Maybe, Michigan. Never been there, never heard of it. So if you guys have been there, fuck yeah. Let's go take a trip there sometime. There's only like 600 people in this town, give or take. She worked at Olga's Kitchen, which is great. Love their food. She went to this party with her friend Becky Brenson, and it was hosted by a guy named Big Mike. Now, Big Mike, he had a lot of land. His mom had like a farm, so there was like acres of fucking land on this place. So he did these parties like every year. It was like huge. There was people from out of state going to them. I want to say this one, they said it was about 800 plus people. So yeah, it was fucking massive. There was bands. It's like Halloween Coachella, basically. So Big Mike had this party, and Chelsea and Becky, they were really fucking excited about going. They like worked on their costumes for weeks. They were both Batman villains. Chelsea was Poison Ivy, so she had like a red plum wig on, and a leotard that she put like fake leaves on it. She carried around like a growler filled with wine. It had like X's on it for poison ivy, get it? So yeah, they went with their friend Penny. Let me scroll down here a bit. Okay, so they get to this party. They're having a good time. It's fucking huge. There's a lot of people. I want to say around midnight or 1 a.m., they head to the big fire pit that Big Mike has going. And there was like these big tent poles that were used for like stages for the bands and stuff. Well, Chelsea fucking hit her nose. And at that point, she was just over it. She wanted to get the fuck out of there. Chelsea had no phone on her. Becky held Chelsea's phone for her. So somehow in between then, Chelsea and Penny lost, or sorry, Becky and Penny lost Chelsea. Chelsea's the victim, by the way. Sorry, I got that messed up. So they lose her and they fucking leave her at this party, which is so fucked up. I'm telling you right now, if you go to a party that big, especially with your friends, don't fucking leave your friends behind. Find them. Figure out how to get to them. Doesn't matter. Don't leave without the people you came with. That is like a big fucking no in my book. I don't care who you are. So they leave her. Chelsea was seen crying, and I think what the detective said, she used about 6 people's phones to get a hold of them. She finally got a hold of Penny. Penny was already home at this point saying, I'm drunk, I can't come get you, I'm sorry, whatever. So I guess Chelsea was cool about it. She was like, it's all good, I'll figure it out. And then we fast forward to the next day, which is Sunday. No one's heard from Chelsea. No one knows where the fuck she's at, who she was with, how she got home. She didn't get home because Chelsea's sister hits up Becky and was like, where the fuck's my sister, dude? Becky had no idea. She's like, she must have went to a friend's, met a guy, I don't know. Which is pretty fucking inconsiderate considering that you left her there. So Big Mike, okay, so we're gonna go to the next day, which is Monday. Big Mike was contacted by several of Chelsea's friends and family members, and they're like, hey, can you just kind of look around for her, see if maybe she passed out drunk somewhere, if she's just something. So he's like, yeah, for sure. And Big Mike's a good guy. He takes his dog with him, and they just search the whole property for her for hours. And the dog gets injured. So he takes his dog all the way back to his house. And by the time he gets there, he's greeted by Chelsea's mother, who has a camp set up, like a search party camp with a bunch of people. And she's like, where the fuck's my kid? Have you seen my daughter? Do you know anything? He's like, I have no idea, lady, but I have to take my dog to the vet. I'll be back to help you, which he does. And I'm going to say maybe 3-4 days go by. Nothing. They find nothing. But the detectives are like, all right, we got to question Big Mike here. This is his party. This is his thing. Sorry, I got to adjust myself. So they bring him in for questioning, and they're like asking him, you know, the basic questions. Did you know Chelsea? Did you see her? Who is she with? Yada, yada, yada. He was very, very cooperative. But one thing he did not cooperate on was them searching his property, which they've already been doing, by the way, so what the fuck ever. That's where they're like, all right, we got a warrant. He's like, all right, just fucking search it. So they kept him at the top of their suspect list. I mean, even throughout to the very end of the case they did, and we'll get to that later on. So they come and they search this fucking property. They find nothing. I mean, it takes them days and days and days, and the search party gets bigger. I mean, like thousands of people were searching for this girl. So the detectives' biggest issue that they would run in onto this case was the fact that, one, there's over 800 people at this party. Two, everyone was wearing a costume. So it was like almost like the perfect fucking crime, you know, so to speak. The whole case is like Clue. I'm not even kidding. Like, the amount of suspects they had and people they questioned throughout this fucking thing, it gets scary, man. And we're going to get to that soon. So I already got to about the 6 people who told the detectives they let Chelsea use their phone, yada, yada, yada. Becky and Penny both cooperated as well. They both helped search for her. They're not really important other than the fact that they're shitty fucking friends and left their friend, and she's now missing. So about 3-4 weeks later, they get a call from a woman who says her son helped Chelsea that night. So they bring him in. His name's Harlan Bird. This fucking piece of shit. I'm gonna get to him. He tells the fucking detectives that, yeah, I saw Chelsea. I saw her being fucked with by a few guys, so I helped her out. Trying to play the big hero part, you know. So he says that he takes Chelsea and he puts her in a car. It's just a red car. The doors are open. He has no idea whose car it is. It's not hers. It's not his. They don't know. But he sets her there and he says, hey, I'm going to go look for your fucking friends. I'm going to go look around. I'm going to help you get home. Stay here. Because she was crying. He claimed she was drunk as hell. She wasn't that drunk. He comes back. She's gone. The car's gone. So he says. So the detectives are like, all right, there's holes in this dude's story. We don't fucking believe him. We don't buy it. They grill his ass. They're like, did you know Chelsea? Did you kill Chelsea? All the questions you're going to ask about a murder case. He's like, you know what? I lied. I made it up. Made the whole thing up. He never even met the girl. He just wanted to look like a fucking hero. So they take his ass to jail because it's a big fucking criminal offense to lie to the police, especially during a murder or a disappearance investigation. And he gets arrested, yada, yada, yada. So around the same time, a woman named Carrie, I don't really know her last name, this bitch did the same fucking thing, but it was about her boyfriend. Don't know his name either. Like I said, there was a lot to go through in this case. Didn't get all the names, but they're not really that important. Not yet. But she basically was like, my boyfriend confessed to killing Chelsea. They bring both of them in, question them. The boyfriend passes a polygraph and gives his DNA. He's like, this bitch is just trying to get me in trouble for something she's mad about. She admits she's lying. They take her ass to jail. What the fuck, people? Okay, first of all, we don't fucking talk to cops as it is, and we're not gonna lie to cops if we do talk to them about shit, especially about a motherfucking murder investigation. By the way, I do not support cops. Fuck 12 all the way. But if it has to do with the girl missing, possibly dead, why the fuck would you go out of your way to make up a fucking story? That is so disgusting and disturbing. Like, both of you rot. So here we are, March 2015. So this is a few months later. They have nothing. They're still looking for this girl. This woman named Cheryl, who lives a few miles down from Big Mike's house, she cleans up winter debris, blah, blah, blah. She always finds cool shit after the party. She just collects it and brings it home for her husband. Just be like, hey, look, you know, we're fucking like American pickers here. They find a red leather flat shoe. It's Chelsea's shoe because the mom confirmed it. Um, a few days after that, this guy named Eric Assab and his buddy, they go fucking around at this abandoned building that's half collapsed. It's like on someone's property. They find her fucking costume and her wig. So they didn't think anything of it. They didn't even know about the case anyway. They were just like, okay, well, it's just some fucking dirty costume. They left it there. They didn't touch it. Well, actually, Eric touched the costume. He picked it up and he put it back down. He sees a missing persons poster, billboard, or whatever, of Chelsea, and he's like, that's the fucking costume and wig I found. Holy fucking shit. He contacts the cops. They bring him in for questioning. One sec. And they're like, okay, you're a suspect now. You fucking, that's kind of sus. But, again, he didn't know the bitch. He wasn't even at that party. So he's telling the police, like, hey, I'll cooperate any way I can. He gives a polygraph, DNA, passes, flying colors. And they're like, okay, well, fuck. Here we are back at fucking point A. And, by the way, Big Mike is still suspect. So, let me light up this smoke and continue on. 1 month later, April 24th, 2015, about 7 miles from the abandoned house, this man named John Marcon is driving his dump truck to a landfill. He's building a house on that property for his family, but the truck gets stuck in the mud. And he gets out and he goes and he investigates. He's like, what the fuck? There's a dead body. And he calls the cops right away. The cops come. By the way, John is never a suspect in this. He's just like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Like, just discovered it, yada, yada, yada. And they get the, crime scene investigation in. They get the body, and it is Chelsea. So they contact the family before, it gets out in the media, like, hey, we found a body, before they even confirmed it was Chelsea, just so that the family didn't find out from the media, because the media is fucking shitty, and they're always fucking, just out there. I hate the media. Anyway, so, John was not a suspect, but they now know there's a killer. And I'm going to pause right here and start part 2 of the video because it gets real fucking crazy from here.